under 20, it will be Samsung Galaxy Grand Duos.
The Asha 501, Nokia Asha 501 will go in.
MICROMAX CANVAS TURBO is the cheapest 501.
Canvas Turbo has a good chance.
Budget phones are a little more difficult to guess at.
Welcome to Last Phone Standing 2013. This now has become one of the most iconic things we do on the Cell Guru show, and for the next 2 weeks, this is what we'll be exploring, and we'll try and bring you the last phone standing, which basically means the best two phones of 2013. We've divided now into two. Phones under 20,000, phones over 20,000, and only smartphones mainly in consideration. Now, why is this such an important show? Why do most people wait for this show all year? I think it's because of the era we live in now. The smartphone or the phone today has become the identity, the who, what, when of mankind itself. Today, what's the biggest identity a person has when he meets another? What's the conversation piece? What do you strive for? What's your aspiration? To most people, the answer would be just one, the next smartphone. And this show will make you arrive at what was the best of 2013. And once again, we have a star cast of epic proportions to take you through. But before we get into all of that, let me take you through how we've reached these phones. We threw out a list of the best phones that we thought under 20,000 came out in 2013, and we got you to vote. 7 phones were selected, 7 speakers were selected. In a random draw of lots, they will actually talk about those phones. These are people who review these phones every single day. Now remember, they're not endorsing these phones. They're not supporting these phones or the brand or the operating system. They're here only to tell you what they think of that phone because of a random draw of lot. We've gone through an entire process to get here, but really, it's something I'll explain to you as the show goes along. I think we should get started. 7 phones, only one can win. Last phone standing 2013, phones under 20,000. The first person to represent the first phone coming in is Vaibhav Sharma, and he's representing MICROMAX CANVAS TURBO. Vaibhav.
I think when you look at a phone which is under 20,000, the criteria is what can I get for this money? I want a 1080p screen, I want a quad-core processor, I want more RAM, all the apps, a great camera, and that's the bill MICROMAX is trying to fit with the CANVAS Turbo. A 1080p screen, quad-core processor, 2 GB of RAM, a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, so you can take those selfies if you find Obama or Manmohan Singh on the street. So there's always that. And then a 13-megapixel camera on the back. It also has a few novel features. You pick up the phone, answer a call, flip to silence the phone, stock Android, Jelly Bean. So all in all, MICROMAX has thrown the entire kitchen sink at it and still managed to keep it under 20,000 rupees. And that is a great sell.
Okay, excellent. And right bang on time. Open to all the other speakers. Okay, Bharat.
Don't you think the battery life is a little terrible on this?
Yes, but I mean, when you're paying less than 20,000 rupees, there is a bit of a compromise to be made. And it's not terrible, it's not great, but it's certainly possible.
All right, so somebody from audience that has a question for what Vaibhav represented, the MICROMAX Turbo. Opinion on the phone? All right, let's get a mic to you.
Don't you think that MICROMAX CANVAS Turbo does not have expandable storage? So don't you think this is a big flaw?
I think it would have been better if it had storage. But at about 16 GB, that's the kind of memory you get amongst all phones. Even the iPhone, for example, at 50,000 rupees plus has 16 GB, and people are still okay with that. So for under 20,000 rupees, I think that's a valid compromise.
All right, great. Thank you so much, everybody. Give him a big hand. Vaibhav, very well presented. All right, so while I will leave the speakers to quickly mark that out of 50, I'm also going to tell audience how this has been marked out, what is our process.
This is how the phones are scored. First, a panel of 25 tech experts marked the phones on the basis of 5 criterion for 40 points. Hardware specs, features, price, looks and brand. A further 10 points will come from audience and 50 points from the jury.
And we're going to find out now from audience. What did you think? From what Vaibhav presented as the MICROMAX Turbo as Phone of the Year 2013, how many would agree? Orange is yes, purple is no. Let's find out. Remember, 10 points as votes come to you. I would say more purple than orange, so I'm going to go with a 4 out of 10 for this. Even if it was equal, I'd go with a 5. So 4 out of 10 from audience. We'll move on to the next one. This is the Lenovo P780, and presenting this is Mala Bhargav. Give her a big hand, please.
Lenovo, which has been known more for PCs and laptops and so on, and now is planning to be known for phones, addresses on this phone the P780, and that is a whopping huge battery, which is 4000 mAh, which is said to last for 2 days, no matter what you do. I think it's an important thing because otherwise this phone is a basic Android phone, and you can do everything that smartphones basically do, but at least you have the battery to keep doing those things. I find with so many of the other phones that I use, they run out halfway through the day, and then I think, what do I do with the rest of it? This phone can also charge another phone, so it's very generous with its battery, and
almost time.
It can charge. It can be charged by another phone. It has its USB on the go.
Do you think Lenovo brand would make a difference because people are not very comfortable with it?
Yeah, the Lenovo brand has been known for something else, and I think they have work to do still. But I think they've shown in other places such as China that they can flood the market up. So I think we should wait and see what they're going to do this coming year.
Ma'am, I would like to ask that, is the batteries just enough for selling the phone?
It's not, no, it would not be enough. It's not just a phone strapped onto a battery. It is, however, a good Android phone. A passable, sufficient Android phone.
Okay, so audience, P780 phone of the year. How many people would agree? Very tough audience. Nobody seems to be, either they've come with preconceived notions or, now remember, this has a lot to do with what Mala said. Okay, so I would again go with a 4 out of 10 on that. So Lenovo and Mala having a tough time, not being able to convince the audience to go with more than 4. While we move to the next person, representing the Nokia Asha 501, Sulabh Puri. Give him a big hand, please.